So, hello, if you're here, and you can participate in this lovely contemplation we're having of our goddess asteroids. And if you're interested in joining this group, you can join Soul Tribe online. I'll put the link from $37 a month, and you can be part of this lovely little group where we talk about our asteroids and different things. Okay, um, so this is our fourth week of series, and I'm so glad we chose to do it this way because we sort of had a few where we did like a whole week on the shadow, the gift, and the Siddhi. And I feel like, I mean, I've been on the trail of series for since my 30s, okay? And I feel like I've got another level of her, just taking like more time to stretch it out and not go through it too quickly, because it's almost like the universe has to have time to deliver all the aspects of our own series and how she's operating and what she needs. So yeah, it's been a really good process. Um, so we've had a week discussing the shadow, a week discussing the gift, and this week we'll look at the Siddhi. You may not feel that you've experienced the Siddhi, but hopefully you maybe have. It would be really nice to touch into that. And also, um, yeah, even if you don't feel like you've reached that frequency yet, ever, like how you perceive you might get there through the gift. Like, what is the gift opening you to? And I always like this thing, I think Richard Rudd says somewhere along the line, how connected the city is to the shadow. So it's almost like in the most tremendous shadow moment, that's when the city might actually open up. And I have had that experience in life where, in like a really severe crisis, something has kind of switched on, like I've just kind of gone into silence or something, which is actually my Siddhi for this one. So but I'm going to share, let me share a bit of art first. So hopefully if I can get it up. Um, this is, we're not going to look at the whole presentation, but this is the one that, oh, now I can't see myself anymore. Okay, let me try share it now. I go. So the first one here is a collage called Daughter of Ceres, who is, of course, Persephone. And this is Milena Bianca's beautiful offering. Um, yeah, I mean, I love this because it brings out the fertility, the earth, the connection to the earth. And what kind of draws me are there's vegetable leaves in here, and they've been eaten by slugs and snails. It's like, wow, that's really cool. And there's like a beetroot there and different nuts and things. So yeah, and there's a pea there. So what's going on in this headdress is this incredibly luxurious and fertile earth. And then the other thing that is fascinating me at the moment is dew and water drops. I don't know if any of you have heard the telepathy tapes that Veda Austin. I sort of went to her via Veda Austin, who's this woman who does this incredible stuff on water. And it talks about dewdrops as being like the consciousness of the creator coming into form in dewdrops. It's like, whoa, dewdrops are really powerful things. And Milena looking very beautiful there and in her priestess power, as I perceive. So this is one example. And recently there's this artist called Sylvia who sent me some of her work. And she gave me permission to share this one. So, so yeah, she's been painting a lot of the goddesses from watching my YouTube channel, which I just think is like really fantastic that I've influenced someone to create art. Is really lovely. Um, so yeah, she's got like this amazing green skin and flowery hair. So again, this theme of fertility, flowers. So her name's Sylvia Gordinia. She's in America. Um, yeah. So those are just two. And if you look on the internet, there's always loads of different art, but both of those reflect this underlying thing I think about renewal and fertility, life, death, and rebirth. Um, so let me share a bit about my Siddhi week. Wow, I had such a high yesterday, so I think I'll share about that. And then I had a bit of a crash today, which is probably related, actually. So this, I probably shared this on here, but this whole thing has happened that I've become a service leader at this church nearby. And yesterday I was actually ended up doing two services on the same day, and I haven't done one for like 6, 7 weeks, and they both landed on the same day. And the one in the morning was quite interesting because it's what's called the Iona service. So it's like Celtic Christianity. Iona is an island off the Scottish coast. And it's from here that the Christian hermits kind of came to the mainland of Britain and seeded what's called Celtic Christianity. It's more nature-based. A lot of these people were hermits that lived on islands in really rough conditions. Um, so it has quite a different feel to it than mainstream or Roman Christianity that also came into Britain via another route and is more kind of militaristic and a state religion. So and these two, the one that was the Roman really became much bigger historically in Britain, but Celtic Christianity is something a lot more people are interested now because it almost feels like it naturally redresses some of the imbalances that Christianity has had historically and abuses of power and such like. Anyway, I did my reflection on Saint Aya, um, who came from Ireland to Cornwall, and she got left behind. And there were a whole load of missionaries coming, and she was the youngest, and she got left behind. But she put her staff on a leaf floating past, and it turned into some kind of boat, like a currach is a traditional boat made of leaves, and she was able to cross the sea. A bit like, so story's a little bit like St. Brendan, but St. Brendan was at it for years, I think, like 7 years or something. So I was reflecting all week on miracles. How do miracles happen? And how do we get from one place to another, where we might seem like really stuck, I guess, and somehow something turns around and we end up somewhere else. And I'm kind of connecting it to Ceres because the fear of being left behind, whether that's like we feel like in our work or in the culture, in our money, in how our relationships have gone. We have a set of what Western culture says this is a successful person. And if we haven't achieved all those things, and I've hardly achieved any of them, to be honest. So, you can have this feeling like you've been left behind. Um, and then also, if you have attachment issues, if you do get left behind physically, you can feel like really triggered. And that can happen in lots of different ways. It doesn't have to be literal, if you get my meaning. So this is a really interesting, like, part of Ceres that I really went into when I had an adopted child who had like really severe attachment issues. But through him, I could see how much I had attachment issues, even though I seemingly came from a much more normal, conventional family. There were things that had happened that invokes this kind of deep fear of abandonment, I guess, in a baby. And that fear then stays in the body. Um, and yes, so I've talked through the shadow of like a lot of my way of coping with that has been through addiction. Um, and what helped me, this gene key helped me change my addiction patterns because it says if you just keep going round and round doing the same thing, you'll never find your true like genius really. This gene key is about finding your genius, gene key 24 we're on about. And then finally the Siddhi is silence. Um, so silence and stillness are interesting cities because I can tap into them actually quite well. And the reason I think I can tap into them is because when I was an adoptive mother, I was so triggered all the time that I got into meditating and learning how to still or control my mind. And I had to do it for like 7 years solid. This is quite a long time ago, but this like absolute necessity to meditate in order to keep myself kind of out of a psychiatric hospital, probably, um, has meant that I can kind of like switch on the silence and stillness. And what's really interesting is in the service leader role, I can do it for myself, and then you almost feel everyone else go into this amazing like feeling of stillness. Um, so it feels like a real gift, and unusual because I can't say that of any other city I can think of apart from stillness, which is the 52, is actually my core wound, and the silence. Um, and I think, yeah, and I think maybe quite a lot of people can do this if they have meditated for any length of time, because that's what meditation essentially teaches you what to do. So that is where I've got with Ceres. And it's a kind of weird realization that I'm still in the shadow sometimes in the addiction, and I can switch on the Siddhi. It's like Okay. And I think I'm still kind of unlocking my genius. I don't feel I've done that completely. Um, I think I get dragged back into things and I get easily distracted and um, yeah, and I go off looking after people and 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 probably didn't spend time unlocking my genius in some ways. But who knows? I never know quite what I'm meant to do on that level. So I'm going to stop the recording now and then, yeah, jump in and share. I'm curious to hear how your series cities have gone. Okay, I'm going to stop and pause.